And in our Sunrise Smart Start, President Biden made a surprise visit to Ukraine's capital city today. This as the world prepares to mark 1 year since Russia's invasion. CBS's Jared Hill has more details from New York.
President Biden showed up in Kyiv this morning in an unannounced visit to pledge America's support for Ukraine. He met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky just days before the country marks 1 year since Russia's invasion.
I thought it was critical that there would not be any doubt, none whatsoever, about U.S. support for Ukraine in their war against the brutal attack by Russia.
The surprise trip comes before President Biden heads to Poland to boost resolve in Europe and here at home.
I expect that there will be very strong confirmation of our resilience and our joint efforts to defeat Russia in Ukraine.
The U.S. has pledged nearly $100 billion in direct aid and equipment to Ukraine. This month, 11 House Republicans introduced a bill urging President Biden to stop sending funding to Ukraine and work toward a peace agreement. But Republican leaders say resolve is strong. It comes as Vice President Kamala Harris levied serious accusations at Russian forces at the Munich Security Conference.
Russian forces have pursued a widespread and systemic attack against a civilian population. Gruesome acts. There is no doubt. These are crimes against humanity.
As the war rages on, with hundreds of thousands dead and millions of Ukrainians displaced, the country's president, Volodymyr Zelensky, says his forces are inflicting extraordinarily significant losses to Russia, and they'll see the conflict through to the end. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
And Rochester police confirming Saturday's police presence on Parcells Avenue involved a homicide. Police responded to the area just before 9:30 Saturday night after a caller reported a man knocked on their door saying he had been shot. Officers found a man in his 30s who has since been identified as Jermaine Wilkins of Buffalo. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Police tell us that Wilkins was in Rochester visiting family, and they believe he was shot on Denver Street, but then ran to Parcells Avenue to seek help. And police tell us a small dog was killed yesterday afternoon by 3 large dogs at Durand Eastman Park. They add the owner of the small dog was walking her dog without a leash, and they say the owner had 3 large dogs on a rope leash. Now, the dogs attacked the small dog, which died from their injuries. Now, when the owner attempted to get his dogs in their vehicle, one slipped away and charged at the officers. We're told one officer shot 1 round towards the dog, but it was not hit and returned to the owner. The owner was issued multiple tickets for dangerous unrestrained dogs. City Animal Control also responded, and this remains an ongoing investigation. And a group of local gun advocates gathering yesterday for a free seminar on basic firearms knowledge. The presentation was put on by the Flower City Firearms Association based out of Rochester that identifies as a progressive gun rights group. A spokesperson says he feels advocacy for the Second Amendment often comes from more conservative groups. They're hoping to spread the message that those on the left and those in minority communities can and should advocate for the right to bear arms. And FEMA is being deployed to East Palestine, Ohio, where residents and officials are struggling in the aftermath of a train derailment which spilled and burned toxic chemicals. Residents picked up bottled water and soda from this local food bank there. And after the derailment earlier this month, locals are finding apparent signs of the toxic chemical spill throughout the town. Ohio's State Environmental Protection Agency says tests show 5 wells supplying the village drinking water are free from contaminants.
Testing those 5 wells that go into the community system, those 5 wells have all come back clean.
This is worse than what everybody thought it was, and the people in town are afraid.
Residents, meanwhile, are reporting rashes, eye irritation, and headaches as well. Governor Mike DeWine says a clinic will be set up for anyone feeling symptoms. In total, about 3 dozen rail cars derailed, and investigators say they were all carrying hazardous materials. And with that train derailment, many folks in our community have expressed concerns surrounding any possible impacts to our region. Now, this comes as a model circulating online seems to suggest airborne particles could make their way to Rochester. The New York State Department of Environmental Conservation has given a statement to News 8 saying it's coordinating with the EPA to monitor potential impacts in New York. And they tell us, quote, there have not been any reported health impacts at this time, end quote. The New York State DEC will analyze samples from its ambient air monitoring stations for differences in air quality. And the world is reflecting on the accomplishments of former President Jimmy Carter, who is now receiving hospice care at home after several hospital stays. The 98-year-old served one term in the White House from 1977 to 1981. Carter is remembered as a president, but also for his humanitarian efforts.
He is one hard worker. He's the first one on the site in the morning and very often the last one to leave by the end of the day.
Carter is the longest living president in U.S. history. President Biden tweeted, quote, we admire you for the strength and humility you have shown in difficult times. May you continue your journey with grace and dignity, and God grant you peace, end quote. And right now, we're going to switch over to a check of the weather with James Gilbert. And James, it's a decent, really day out there today, starting out.
Yeah, not bad. Temperatures in the 40s. I saw someone motorcycling yesterday.
Okay.
So I was like, wow, getting the bike out. I don't blame you. So that was neat to see. Maybe you're just thinking about getting the bicycle out this morning, going for a ride. You've got dry roads. Definitely gloves because, you know, you'll feel it. But otherwise, mid-February, 40 degrees, that's pretty rare. It is very warm, normal low 21, so that should put it in perspective for you. We'll bubble right around that number, up or down a degree or two, but generally staying the same until tonight. Then we drop below freezing. Another couple storms heading our direction. We'll take a look at the 8-day forecast at the end of the show. Isabel.
All right, thank you so much, James. And taking a look at the roads now, still clear for 390, 490, and 590, all running on time. The roads are looking smooth sailing for your morning commute. And this Friday will mark 1 year since the Russian invasion of Ukraine began. Since then, local nonprofit Ramadan has been working to raise awareness and collect donations for those fighting and living in the war zones. What started as a gathering for funds online to send to families and charities in Ukraine has now blossomed into Ramadan needing a warehouse to sort through all of the military gear, first aid kits, hospital beds, and even ambulances they're shipping over to Ukraine for support. You can always donate online to Ramadan, and we have those links for you over at rochesterfirst.com. And the 41st annual Teddy Dance for Love came to a close this weekend at St. John Fisher University. The results are in, and this year's event reached their $130,000 goal for Camp Good Days and special times. That, of course, as I mentioned, means they reached their goal for this year. The money will support children battling cancer along with their families. And Gary Mervis, Teddy's father and founder of the Teddy Project, says he's been to all 41 dances, and his daughter's spirit lives on through all the love and support shown by people she's never met.
The professor wrote the book for the love of Teddy, and in it he said immortality is being loved by anonymous people. When you think that none of the dancers, committee members ever got the opportunity to know Teddy, but for these last 24 hours, she's been a part of all of their lives.
And the Teddy Dance for Love has raised more than $1.8 million for Camp Good Days. And after winning a gold medal at the Olympics last year, Pittsburgh native Chris Lillis added some more hardware to his collection over the weekend. This with a gold medal in the mixed gender aerials team event at the World Ski Championships. As James had mentioned earlier, that was in France, and the same event where Lillis won gold at the Beijing Winter Games last year. And his team says they were excited to defend their throne.
Well, Ashley and I were part of that gold medal team from the Olympics last year. We were very much looking forward to running it back, and we had a new dog with us this time, and the amount of pressure on this kid was absolutely insane. I'm so proud of this guy right here.
Not too much pressure. just to make those couple flips there.
Amazing.
That is impressive and great representation for our area. So big congratulations. And I know James here now. A restaurant out of Minnesota is making an impact on the dining experience too. But this change doesn't have to do with the food. They have created a menu that is entirely in Braille. Now the idea came about after the owner noticed one of their regulars, a blind man, struggling to order new items because he couldn't read the menu. Now, the restaurant has multiple Braille menus on hand, making sure everyone is comfortable while dining. I love to see that.
Yeah, you know, better access for one is better access for all. So.
Absolutely. Love to see that there. And as far as weather-wise goes, it's kind of a decent day to start out the winter break week.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully maybe you can make your own breakfast at home because you don't have to rush out the door today. Normally I would do a bus stop forecast here, but no need to get on a bus, as a lot of us are off for winter break. Maybe a passing shower or two today, but really most of us are going to be dry. Same thing tomorrow, another system to bring an isolated rain or snow mix. Then things get busy Wednesday night and into Thursday. That's the time period we're going to highlight here. Could be snow showers over to ice, all a wintry mix happening on Thursday.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us for News 8 at Sunrise. Our next update is coming up in 30 minutes. CBS Mornings is up next.
Follow News 8 wherever you are on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, Twitter, and on our app for news and weather.